I am scared for this video. I would consider myself a pretty generous 5-star rater. It doesn't take a lot to impress me. I think it takes very specific things to make me not like a book. I think in general, I'm pretty easily impressed. So there's already a couple books that I've rated pretty highly so far this year. I thought in today's video, we would go through and read some 1-star reviews of my 5-star books. I'm not going to take any of this personally, but we are going to look and see what all the haters say about my favorite books. Before we get into it, if you love talking about books, if you love listening to people yap about books, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos like this one. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with my latest 5-star, which was Beartown by Fredrik Backman. This one I feel like is a very widely loved book, so I'm interested to see what any of these 1-stars are going to say. Yeah, this has a 4.29 average Goodreads rating. This is a well-loved book. There's not a lot of 1-stars, like very few. This one is from 2017. It says, I have debated whether to keep going with this one, knowing this writer is a talent. I can't. Every time I pick it up to read it, I find I have read 3 to 4 pages without ever retaining anything. I don't care about these characters. I don't care about their dramas. I don't care about hockey. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. I don't care who wins. I mean, I still want them to win. I don't care who gets cut from the team. Well, that's unrelated. I don't care about underlying themes or struggles or personal issues or faulty marriages or teenage culture. I just find myself wanting it to be over. So that said, I have asked myself, despite the rave reviews, why am I doing this to myself? There are books out there that I look forward to reading, books that make me want to exit my life in order to embrace. I am going to read those books. I may revisit this in the future, but not now. Okay, I support her in her if this isn't her jive. If she's not jiving with this book, I support her. This ain't your type of book, then get out of here. Get lost. Read something that makes you happy. But I just disagree. I think that the way he writes this book makes you care about the characters, makes you care about the drama, makes you care about what happens with them and just wanting the best for them. Like, I don't know what book she was reading, but I care. I don't know what's making her not care. I will, though, kind of agree that especially at the beginning, you could read 3 to 4 pages and not know what's going on if you weren't sitting down and paying attention. This is the kind of book I would say to read physically, read on your Kindle. I would not recommend listening to this on audiobook. I just think it would be very hard to follow and very hard to connect to the characters. I think it's just a much better reading experience if you read it physically. Honestly, annotate it. That's what you need to do. But dang, girl, that was rough. She didn't even finish it. Here's another one from 5 years ago. Am I the only one who didn't like this novel? I couldn't even bring myself to finish it. Again, okay. Couldn't even finish it. The melodrama, people. The melodrama. I laughed out loud a few times at the beginning because I felt like I was reading a prepubescent teenager's diary, even when the chapter was like a 50-year-old dude. Okay, that's kind of funny, but I disagree. There's no way that I could be writing in the way that this author is writing in my teenage years? Girl, I don't think I can even write like that right now. The text is like a soap opera, and I half expected some kind of wind-blown Arctic Fabio to emerge from the woods wearing nothing but a wolf pelt like carrying like 5 dead women. What? Are you sure you picked up the right book? Are you sure this is a review for Beartown? I'm confused. Okay, that's not quite true. At least she clarifies that. The narrative, at least through the first 200 pages, isn't inherently melodramatic, but the prose was ridiculous. Every other paragraph felt like some kind of attention-seeking Facebook status. Those prose just drips with drama, and not a drip in a luxurious champagne drinking in the clawfoot tub while covered in diamonds kind of way, but the why is this all wet kind of way. Okay, I don't really know what you were trying to get out there. Maybe I was just one of those relatively articulate virgin weirdos in high school who didn't say the F word 68 times a day while talking about my latest sexual encounter, but did anyone else feel like these teenagers felt unrealistic? And then she adds an update in all caps. These super profane and promiscuous kids do exist. Backman must have modeled the kids in this piece after my high school students. My apologies for doubting you, Mr. Backman. I don't know. I think that the teenage experience that was written in this is very similar to, I wouldn't say very similar to my experience, but like similar enough. Like these kind of things definitely happened in my high school. I don't know. Like it wasn't me doing it. I wasn't there. I wasn't at the parties. I wasn't doing the things, but it was happening. I would argue, obviously this is a fiction, but like that's real life. Anyway, okay, maybe we'll do 2 more. This is from 7 years ago. It says, all right, she has a short review and an extended review. We'll just do the short review. Her extended one is long. Wow, this is the first book I've read from Fredrik Backman that is absolutely terrible. Worst book I have finished. The short review. The writing is unrefined, simplistic, and melodramatically monotoned. Okay, I wouldn't say that it's simplistic or unrefined, but I kind of agree that it's melodramatically monotoned. The story, which drags on twice as long as necessary, forces cliché characters to face a side-choosing modern moral question with an obvious right and wrong answer, and thinks that it explores a complex, contrived situation with depth, but instead it stumbles through characterized people having unrealistic, forced conversations, all told with an excessive amount of eye-roll-inducing dramatic platitudes. What? Who are you and why do you feel like you need to leave a review like that? This, okay, I mean, ChatGPT wasn't out and existed in 2018, but this sounds like something that someone would put into ChatGPT. They'd be like, leave a kind of mean review, but make me sound super, like, posh. Not posh, I don't think posh there, but make me sound super educated. Girl. Okay, the story drags on twice as long as necessary. It is slow. It's slow, but I think this is more of a character study than a plot study or like plot focused book. So that makes sense. I'm not faulting the book on that. The book wasn't meant to be fast paced. There wasn't a whole lot of plot going on anyway. This was all about the characters. It forces cliche characters to face a side choosing modern moral question with an obvious right and wrong answer. Yes, there's an obvious right and wrong answer. I agree with that. However, the way he wrote this book makes you understand the decisions and the sides that people are taking on this. Obviously, you want to scream at them and be like, just trust who is talking. But it's more nuanced than that. And while you want everyone to just do what's right and to just do what's right, that's just not always how it goes. And I think that this is real and this is like honest and raw and infuriating. I agree, but I don't think that it is realistic to have every person side with what's right. Sorry. If you want a fantasy, go read a fantasy, girly. Okay, one more. This one is also from 7 years ago. Wow, this was bad. I love his other books so much, but this was a big disappointment. Didn't like the story or the characters and couldn't wait for it to end. It was too much like a YA book. My head actually hurts from rolling my eyes so much. Only redeeming quality was how great his writing is. Okay, so you loved the writing style, or loved the writing, but you hated the characters and the story, and you hated them so much that you gave this 1 star? That feels crazy. Also, this book did not feel YA at all. Like, it is, I guess, about some YA characters, but the story is so much more complex than that. I would never be like, oh, this is a YA book. No. This is a, like, general fiction. What's the difference between, like, literary fiction and general fiction? Does anyone know? But no, girly, this is not YA at all. I'm so sorry, but you are wrong. Willow just brought a ball from the video where I had her pick what books I read, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. This was for book B, but I'm so sorry. Get a different ball. That one has marker on it and it's not good for you to play with. Do you understand? Moving right along. Next, I read Onyx Storm at the beginning of this year and I gave it 5 stars. And I know that a lot of people disagree with me on that, but you know what? I don't care. I'm going to stand firm in my decision. But let's see what the haters have to say about it. If you don't know, this is book number 3 in the Fourth Wing Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. I'm going to try to not include spoilers, but that might be kind of hard. This one also has a 4.29 average rating on Goodreads. Oh my god, there's so much. This one's too long. Sorry. Okay. A lot of these are long, but this one's not long. This one says, so she gave it 1 star. It says, she is so brave for publishing this. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's aggressive. That's very aggressive. This one says, I am all for banning books if this is the only one. Wouldn't wish this atrocity on my worst enemy. It genuinely makes me want to never pick up another book again. This one says, not another 500-page Wattpad fic. Guys, either the reviews are super short or they're super long, so I'm going to read, I guess, just part of this super long one. This one says, Violet and Xaden are dead to me. I'm 100% done with Yarros, Violet, Xaden, and the insufferable banter. Okay, I rated Fourth Wing and Iron Flames 4 stars. I remember feeling conflicted about the rating as I found the story lacking, immature, and odd writing style, but went with the vibes and enjoyment only. But this book, dot dot dot. This book was secondhand embarrassment. Violent. I loved her with a passion, but what happened to her? She made me rage beyond rage. Sick of her point of view, sick of her badass ways that verge on being obnoxious and immature. I have never experienced such a shift in my feelings towards a character like this. I feel like I've missed a book where she became this annoying girl. Zayden, bored out of my brains. Jealousy looks bad on this boy. If his skilled tongue or skilled fingers got mentioned again, I'd dry up drier than a raisin. Mr. Moody Red Eyes crossed his arms and smirked even more times in this book than the previous, and not even his shadows could save this boy from my hatred as well. Well done, Yarros. The banter was tiringly the same throughout. Even Riddick got on my nerves. Not Riddick. Okay, you're gonna drag Riddick into this? This person clearly is just a hater. I feel like everyone in the 1-star reviews for this book, they're just all haters. And a lot of them, it's like, why did you need to leave this? Oh my god. This says, ChatGPT is so bad at writing, but Rebecca Yarros is even worse. Damn. Oh my god. Someone said, Riverdale ass title. Don't bring Riverdale into this. Okay, here's one. Update. Read the book. This was the absolute stupidest ending. This whole book was poorly written. I've lost all faith in the book community. How is this a bestseller and so highly regarded? There are so many plot holes and redundant banter. I'm so irritated that I actually gave it a redeeming chance? Girl, you can't write either. Really gives AI vibes. Yes, I would agree that there are plot holes, but I think what she does is she then will go into the next book and like fill them in. And she'll be like, oh, remember that thing that we all forgot about? Yeah, that actually like really mess some stuff up. So I think that's what's gonna happen. And yeah, here's the thing. Just because somebody likes a book, likes characters, and likes an author, it doesn't mean they're just hopping on an internet trend. Like, there's a reason that so many people like it. We're not all just like freaking out for no reason. I genuinely enjoy these characters. This is the first book series I've ever read about dragons, first of all, and just that alone is so intriguing to me, and I just like really enjoy that part of the story. And then also I do really like the female main character, and she does represent like a lot of things that a lot of people can relate to. So I don't enjoy that there's such a culture of just dismissing people for liking a book because they think that they're just hopping on a trend. I don't subscribe to that. The 1-star reviews of this book on Goodreads is literally just a bunch of internet trolls just trying to be mean because they can. I said what I said. All right, the next one I know is also going to be pretty harsh. I think it's going to give like similar, if not the same vibes of a bunch of internet trolls, but I really enjoyed Deep End. I read this recently this month and I rated it 5 stars. Oh, hey, Winston joined us. I did rate it 5 stars and I know that a lot of people didn't like it, so I am prepared to read some reviews. But I do think that they'll be more thought-provoking and not just, mean 1-sentence reviews. But we'll see. I also think that it's kind of crazy that I could rate Beartown 5 stars and also Deep End 5 stars. Like, that's kind of wild, but like it's the rating that it receives for the genre. Like, I can't compare the two. They're completely different books, but they're both 5 stars. Anyway, okay, this one has a 4.08 average rating on Goodreads. Let's see some 1 stars. This one says, I'm still searching for the kink. Okay, and then this one says, I think the kink got lost in printing of this book. I would rather jump off a cliff into a deep end water than read this again. Okay, I think we need to remember this is following 2 collegiate athletes, first of all. One of them is already an Olympian and is going to the Olympics again. They also have never been in a relationship like this. They've never explored this with anyone else. I don't think that we can expect them to jump into this guns blazing. They've never experienced it before. They have things to learn. So I think that you were looking for something that was not going to be there. And I think that just makes sense. Okay, this one's really long, but I'll read just the beginning. And it gets worse. While he was in a relationship with the FMC's friend, they were together for like a whole 7 years, mind you. He was thinking of the FMC? ? And wanting the ex to ask her to join them on one of their little threesomes? ? Is this somehow supposed to be romantic and hot, or do I just have standards? Okay, that's a little harsh. I think that there needs to be a little bit more thought going into the previous relationship, the ex and him, They clearly did not have a very good relationship. That is not, no questions asked. But you do kind of have a point. You do kind of have a point there. That is not romantic. It's not. This one's long, but I just saw something that I wanted to touch on. This one says, so there's other stuff, but it says, a man who spends most of his time catering to his ex-girlfriend rather than the FMC. What was the thought process? I really want to switch things up. OMG, I've got it. We include lots of, oh, no, I don't know what that means. That is fair. I do think that this book centered around the best friend / the ex for way too long. I think that the whole part, like the whole situation that came up with the best friend, with Penn and the test, that was too much. The way they were catering to her for that entire time was too much. It was ridiculous. It was unrealistic. Why would anyone do that? It's not that big of a deal. Like, chill, truly. But I don't think that was enough to stop me from loving this book. Sorry. I wasn't prepared for these. I thought I would be prepared for those. I wasn't prepared for those. Okay, next, this book I read a little while ago, but I just kind of wanted to see what people were saying about it because I haven't read or heard any really very negative reviews, but the next 5-star book that I've read is Curious Tides, so I want to see what people are saying about it. This book has a 3.81 average Goodreads rating. Oh my god, this first one. I wish everyone drowned in the cave. That's horrible. You are not a nice person. Again, there's like a lot of really long ones, so let me just read, I guess, a portion of some. This says, do you know how insufferable and lame of a main character a girl has to be to get me to root for the guy? There are a lot of things I disliked about this book, but making me wish for more of a guy's POV who has very little relevance to the plot other than being a prop for the MC is the worst of its crimes. Okay, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. I do think that the female main character is a little boring. I wouldn't say that she was sufferable, but she just was very unsure. I mean, she was a teenager going through so much shit, of course. I spent the entire time listening to it, wishing it'd be over. I was bored out of my damn mind. Emery is so stupid. I mean, I don't think she's the brightest in the bunch, but I don't think she's so stupid. I have nothing against main characters who are not the strongest, but when you give close to no redeeming qualities, then I have an issue because Emery was bland. Listening to her point of view felt like staring into a white wall eating stale, unsalted crackers. It was very underwhelming and very disappointing. Did we read the same book? I don't think we read the same book. This one says, marketing got me again, with the blurb comparing this to A Deadly Education. I don't know what that book is. Maybe I should look it up. I can't remember the last time a book featured such a self-centered main character that we're supposed to root for. I sure didn't. Emery was a deadly combination of stupid and egotistical, trusting strangers for no good reason and not trusting friends for reasons. I wasn't sold on her friendship with anyone and the romance was laughable. Baz was marginally better. The pacing was awful. The first 250 pages were a constant repetition of Emery and Baz thinking how everyone else was much more interesting, vibrant, competent than them. The second half isn't so excruciatingly slow, but the plot is so predictable that it's still a chore to get through. The magic system is interesting, but doesn't make up for a weak plot and characterization. Okay, it has been a little bit since I've read this book, the first 250 pages, or the constant repetition. I mean, I do think that them comparing themselves to others is a big part of this book, so yes, obviously that's going to happen a lot. I do think Emery was overly trusting of strangers, but if that didn't happen, then nothing of this book could have happened. I mean, especially when she just felt so alone. I can see how it happened. I'm not surprised. She's also a teenage girl. I feel like that's just the biggest thing that everyone here needs to remember is she's literally just a teenage girl. I think the romance was laughable, but like it wasn't serious. I mean, I wasn't taking it serious being excited about the romance. Like, the romance wasn't the point, so it wasn't the focus. I don't know. And the magic system was interesting. I loved the magic system in this book. 10 out of 10. I think that might be all that I can take. I knew that this was going to offend me. I wasn't expecting there to be just so many, like, online trolls, basically. Like, you don't gotta be mean just to be mean. Where's the fun in that? I originally had planned on also reading 1-star reviews of my all-time favorite book of all time, Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. But at this point, I can't do it. But let me know down below and I'll make another one of these videos and I will start with this one. If you want me to experience those feelings, comment down below. Let me know. Also, if you've made it this far in the video and haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe. I do also have my Goodreads, Instagram, TikTok, all that linked down below. If you want to stay up to date on what I'm reading, what's going on, all the matchas I'm making, definitely check that out. I think I like posting on my Instagram stories the most, so even if I'm not very active like on actual posts on Instagram, I do stay pretty active on my stories. I just really want everyone to remember that it is free to be nice. And I'm not saying that you need to only leave good reviews. I'm not saying that if you think a book was bad to not leave a negative review. I'm just saying you can leave a negative review without just being mean. There's a fine line. You don't have to be mean. I just cannot imagine being an author and spending all of that time to write a book, promote a book, all of that, and then to go in and just see basically like internet trolls. Ugh, that would be so frustrating. I cannot imagine. And also, here's a reminder to rate books 5 stars whenever you want. Don't care about anyone else's opinion. If the book was a 5-star for you, then it was a 5-star. You have nothing to prove. You do you, girly. I think that's it for this video. I need to go make a coffee because I cannot stop yawning, and I still got stuff to do today. So that's it. I'll see you guys later, and yeah, bye.